趣味は何？
そうだね、ギターかな。
そっか。最初のきっかけは？
ロックを聴くことが好きだからやってみようかなと思って。
どのぐらいやってる？
20年。
すごいね。しょっちゅうやってる？
毎日。
へえ。おはようございます。こんにちは。こんばんは。And welcome to Learn Japanese Pod with me, Alex.
And me, Ami.
And if this is your first time listening to Learn Japanese Pod, welcome. All you need to know is this is a podcast dedicated to teaching you how to speak the fluent natural Japanese you don't find in your textbook. You'll also get lots of insider tips and tricks on how to sound more like a native speaker and the mistakes you should avoid. And of course, we'll talk about Japanese culture, a super fascinating topic in itself. And today I am joined by the wonderful Ami Sensei, who is a Japanese-speaking ninja, has a PhD in Osaka dialect, and is a thoroughly wonderful human being. So, what are we studying today, Ami Sensei?
はい。Today we'll be teaching you how to talk about your free time and hobbies. We'll go through some dialogues in natural Japanese and also learn vocabulary and phrases for talking about what you like to do for fun. And we'll also talk about some cultural differences between how Japanese people spend their free time compared with people from other countries. Now, talking about your free time is a great topic to use when getting to know new people for the first time, and it's quite likely to be a topic of discussion when Japanese people are getting to know you. So, everyone, get ready to study some must-know Japanese phrases.
ありがとうございます、Ami. But before all of that, it's time for Ami and I to catch up and talk about what we've been up to recently.So, Ami Sensei,
はい。
最近どうですか？元気ですか？
元気は元気です。元気は元気ですが。
元気は元気。元気 is 元気does. なんかね、何について話そうかな。やっぱり、あれでしょう。
あれですか？あれですか？
あれでしょう。日本ですね。ちょっと残念ですね。
そうですね。
ベルギー対日本の試合はちょっと信じられない結果ですね。
いやー、惜しかったですね。
惜しかったね。
いやー、悔しいけど、でもすごかったです。
あるところなんか2対0でしょ。絶対勝つと思って。
いや、あの時はもういけると思いました。見てましたか？
見た。逆転して
ね、2-0の時。
もうなんじゃこりゃ
なんじゃこりゃでも朝3時とかですよね、そっち。
そう見るつもりじゃなかったけど、
はい、そうなんですか？
その夜なかなか眠れなかったので、
じゃあ見ようかなって。なるほど。いや惜しかったです。でもすごくいい試合が見れてよかったです。
イギリス人だけど日本に住んでるからやっぱりいつも、日本のサポートしますね。
おー、素晴らしいです。でもイギリスも頑張ってますよね。
やっとコロンビアに勝ったね。なるほど。でも PK だけで。
なるほど。それはついていってなかったです。
そう僕の友達にコロンビア人がいるからちょっとすごい悲しかったね。
そうなんですか。
残念ですね。
でもコロンビアも頑張ってたっちゃ頑張ってたし、
めっちゃいいチームだよね。
ですね。だから最初ね、日本が勝った時はおーって思いました。
そう、ちょっと面白い話題があったけど、最近フェアプレイということが最近非常にあったけど、そのフェアプレイについてなんかご存知じゃない方のために説明していただけませんか？
私ですか。その 100% 詳しくはないんですけど、例えばその、ね、グループリーグで日本が次のベスト16、ベスト16に行けるかどうか、わからないっていうところだったんですけれども、やっぱりそのセネガルとポイント があるじゃないですか。1チームのポイント。そのポイントが一緒だったんですね。その勝ったり、お互い勝ってとか、引き分けてとかで、ポイントがセネガルと一緒だったんですけども、だから日本とセネガルどっちが次に行けるのかなっていう状況で、ただ日本の方がセネガルよりイエローカードが少なかったんです。で、それで次に行けるようになってセネガルは落ちちゃったっていう状況だったんです。だからまあフェアプレーってそういう、まあ、ペナルティーとかそういうファールとかそういう感じの、
そうですね。
そういうのもやっぱり関係してきますね。ポイントがそうやって一緒だったりするとっていう感じですね。
そうですね。だからそういうフェアプレーというおかげで、
そうですね。
進出することができましたよね。で、もう一つ、まあ直接関係してないけど、それだけじゃなくて、その日本代表のファンはですね、その試合の後、掃除したみたいよね。そのゴミを拾ってちゃんと捨てたみたいよね。
まあなんていうんですか、そういうトラディション習慣になってますね。おなじみみたいになってます。
そうだからやっぱり、まあ、イギリス人としてね、フーリガンという言葉が思い浮かぶですね。
そうですね。
だからちょっと時々サッカーっていうことね、ちょっと怖いイメージもあるし、だけど日本のファンだと全然問題ないね。なんていう best behaved fans in the world
まあ真面目なんですかね。
真面目だけど、まあ変なことしないよね。
変なことする人もいますけど、多分、ああいうとこにはあんまりいないかもしれないですね。
あんまりいないね。そう。
あと日本の選手たちもロッカールームをもうすっごい綺麗にして帰ったっていう話題ですよ。
なるほど、ね。
話題になってますよ。
そう。
さすがやなって。
まあやっぱり日本人は礼儀正しで、もう清潔でちゃんと掃除して、ちゃんとなんていう思いやり。
そうですね。思いやりとか敬意とかね。
そう。素晴らしいですね。
いやー、プラウドです。
お疲れ様でした。ちょっと
お疲れ様でした。
残念でしたけど、ナイスプレイだったね。
いや、本当に感動しました。
well done Japan. ところでちょっと変な質問があるけど、World Cup はなんていう日本語で？
ワールドカップ。そのままです。
W カップとかという言い方ない？
なんか新聞とかネットとかでは省略して W 杯って書くこともあるんですけど、口頭口で言うときは普通にワールドカップって言います。
ワールドカップ、そうですね。まあこれからですね。イギリス対スウェーデンですね。
イギリス対スウェーデン。
勝つかどうかわからない。
今度七夕のそっちは違うか。七夕の日に。
七夕の日にする。
そうですね。
そうだからまあ今そのポッドキャストを録音してるでしょ。だからこのポッドキャストは、まあ、将来にもう振り返って聞いて面白いかもしれない。面白いかもしれないですね。そうだからだってイギリスは勝ったよとか負けたよと。
いや応援しますよ。じゃあもう日本がいないので今度はイギリスを応援します。
ありがとうございます。So good luck England. You'll probably know the result of this when we put the podcast out. But anyway, well done Japan for a very sportsman-like effort during the World Cup. It was some really good matches there.
Yeah.
I'm sad they're out. It's a shame.
Yeah, we're all so sad.
I'm busy. I have a job to go to now.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, cool. So 面白かったね。
はい、面白かったです。
I just want to give everyone a bit of news now. So, as some of you might know, I posted on social media and sent an email out to our members, basically saying that we were recording a podcast today. And I asked people if they wanted a Japanese-related question to be read out and answered by us on this podcast. And oh, by the way, if you want to ask us a question on the podcast, go to learnjapanesepod.com/questions. learnjapanesepod.com/questions. Just fill out the Google form. Super easy. It'll take you less than 2 minutes. And we love to get questions. So the good news is we got completely inundated with fantastic questions from all of you. So thanks so much to everyone who wrote in. And thanks for your really interesting, thoughtful questions.
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます. The bad news is we got completely inundated with fantastic questions. So I'm really, really happy to get the questions. However, there were so many. I think we got something like 20 or something. And there were so many of them, I thought they needed a separate podcast episode to do them justice. So the next podcast will be a fun Friday Ask Us Anything episode. And that'll give Ami Sensei and I more time to prepare and give you some proper answers. So apologies for the delay. Thanks for the questions, but I promise we will get around to answering them in the next podcast. I just want to give them the proper thinking time and preparation that they deserve. So so that will be the Fun Friday Ask Us Anything episode. Look forward to that. And that will be the very next podcast. And we'll put that out like really soon, maybe in a week or so. So, ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。Thank you guys.
Okay, so shall we get back to today's lesson?
No, it's time to go to bed.
Let's just talk about football for the rest of the podcast, shall we? So what we'll do is let's go back to today's dialogue. So as Ami Sensei was saying, we're talking about hobbies and how you spend your free time. Let's have a listen to the first dialogue one more time.
趣味は何？
そうだね、ギターかな。
そっか。最初のきっかけは？
ロックを聴くことが好きだからやってみようかなと思って。
どのくらいやってる
？20年。
すごいね。しょっちゅうやってる？
毎日。
へえ。
Okay, so you should have understood some of that, right? Ami Sensei, could you break down this conversation for our lovely listeners? Dozo.
Of course. So, the first line was 趣味は何? So, 趣味 is the word for hobby or hobbies. 趣味は何? I'm literally asking, what is your hobby? What are your hobbies? 趣味は何?
And here's a tiny grammar point that wa is a particle. It points to the subject of the sentence. And it means something like as for or on the topic of. I always remembered it as is in English, but it's not quite that, but it kind of feels like that.
It pretty much is, but yeah.
So, 趣味は何? So, as for your hobbies, what
would they be? Yeah.
What would they be? Yeah. And then I replied, そうだね、ギターかな. So, そうだねis just a nice generic answer to a question. And it just means, well, let me see. We've talked about this in previous podcasts. そうだね also means that's right. So means so in English. But そうだね is really, you're just, well, let me see. And then I said, ギターかな. So guitar obviously means guitar. And then かな, it makes it a little less confident. You're saying, oh, I guess it's
perhaps
guitar, right? And then what did you say?
And then I said, そっか。最初のきっかけは? So, そっか is a generic way of replying to something. そっか is like, okay, I see.
Right.
And then, 最初のきっかけは? So, 最初 is beginning, no of, きっかけ. So, きっかけ is, I guess like the trigger or what triggered you.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah, it's like, how did you get into that? Or what was the first opportunity?
Yeah. What made you start? How did you start up?
And then I said, ロックを聞くことが好きだからやってみようかなと思って。So, bit of a mouthful, but this is kind of like a really, really natural way of saying, well, I like listening to rock, so I thought I'd give it a go. So let me just break that down. So, rock, or kiku koto. So, or is a particle that usually goes between the noun and the verb. Don't worry about it too much for now. But rock or kiku, that means rock, listen. So listen to rock. Then we've got koto. Koto, well, we'll go into this in more detail a bit later, but it's a bit like saying ing, right? So rock or kiku koto. So listening to rock. You know this next one, gaski, I like. So I like listening to rock. So rock or kiku koto gaski. だから therefore or because I like listening to rock or I like listening to rock therefore やってみよう is やって is do みよう see have a go so try and do something or have a go test something out かな again this makes it more what should I say tentative and then と思って So I thought I'd give it a go. So because I like listening to rock, I thought I'd give guitar a go. Something like that. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. And then the next line was どのぐらいやってる? That's a question. どのぐらいやってる?
So how long have you been doing it? I've got a quick question. Could you also say どのぐらいやってるの?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So you can stick no on the end when you're asking a casual question. As many of you know, you usually stick a ka at the end of a question. 趣味は何ですか? But if you're making it casual, just stick no. So どのぐらいやってるの? And then I said 20年. 20年. So 20 years. And then you said, Ami sensei.
すごいね。しょっちゅうやってる? So すごいね is that's great. That's awesome. しょっちゅう often やってる? Do you do it? So do you play very often?
Then I said 毎日, which is every day. That's simple, right? And then we finish with a very important Japanese word, or maybe it's more of a sound rather than a word. What was that, Ami sensei?
へー.
What does that mean?
That's like huh, or cool. I see.
So you can kind of extend that word to a ridiculously long time. If you want to go, hey.
Yeah, because it could be like, it could be like an acknowledgement, but it can also be like a surprise, like, hey, or hey.
You'll get a medal for the longer you can say it. Like, hey.
That's pretty annoying.
Yeah. If you overdo it, it sounds a bit fake. Or sounds very fake. So just a little question, Ami sensei, just to recap. So the two questions at the end, you said どのぐらいやってる and しょっちゅうやってる. You could put a no at the end of both of those,
That's
right?
correct. So you could say しょっちゅうやってるの.
Either is fine, right?
Either is fine. I feel like adding the no makes a little bit more friendly, though. Friendly sounding.
A little bit more friendly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's say when we do this again, we'll just add no on the end, and that'll make it sound more natural. Cool.
Sure. Okay, so let's do another dialogue then.
Yeah, awesome.
So this time we've changed some of the words, so you can practice listening to some new vocabulary related to people's hobbies. You ready, Alex?
Sure. Shall I start off then?
Okay.
趣味は何?
そうだね。ジョギングかな。
そっか。最初のきっかけは?
運動することが好きだからやってみようかなと思って。
どのぐらいやってるの?
1年。
すごいね。しょっちゅうやってるの?
週に2回。
へえ。趣味は何?
そうだね。ジョギングかな。
そっか。最初のきっかけは?
運動することが好きだからやってみようかなと思って。
どのぐらいやってるの?
1年。
すごいね。しょっちゅうやってるの?
週に2回。
へえ。 Cool. Okay, so many, but not all hobbies in Japan use katakana. So that's the phonetic writing system to describe foreign loan words. So you should probably be able to understand what Ami's hobby was. So let's just break it down. So we'll start with the first question, which was Shumi wa nani, which of course means what's your hobby? Then again, Ami sensei said, So da ne. Well, let me see. And then what did you say, Ami sensei?
ジョギングかな
Well, that's pretty easy, right? So jogging, right?
Yes.
Oh, I guess it's jogging. Then again, sokka. Oh, really? 最初のきっかけは? So what was the first opportunity that got you interested in jogging? How did you get into jogging? And then you said, Ami sensei?
運動することが好きだからやってみようかなと思って。So everything is the same, the same sentence as before, but the reason is of course different. The reason was 運動する. So 運動 is exercise, する is to do. So 運動することが好きだからやってみようかなと思って. So I like to exercise, so I thought I'd give it a shot.
Cool, awesome. And then the rest is pretty much similar. どのぐらいやってるの? So how long have you been doing it? You said 1年, 1 year.
Yes.
Again, the rest is the same. すごいね. Wow. しょっちゅうやってるの? Do you do it often? Do you go jogging regularly? And then you said
週に2回.
What's that?
So 週 is week. に. So in a week. 2回, 2 times. So basically, I'm saying I go twice a week.
Cool. So you could say 週に1回. So once a week. 週に2回. 2 times a week. 週に3回. 3 times a week. 週に4回. I suppose you wouldn't really say 週に7回. You just say 毎日, right?
Correct.
Like I go 7 days a week. You just say I go every day. And then of course we finish with the obligatory hey. Did you watch that show where people watched interesting facts? They had like a report about some kind of interesting fact and then they hit this button.
Yeah, トリビアの泉.
Oh, what's it called? Sorry?
トリビアの泉.
Right. So it was a trivia show. They put together some like really interesting report.
But they were all really random trivia, you know?
Totally random, you know, a bit like, you know, the construction of the pyramids or
yeah. Oh, even more random, you know, really, really.
How cuckoo clocks are made. And they'd watch it and they'd have this big red buzzer and they'd hit it. And the more times they hit it, it displayed how interested they were in the topic.
Yeah, there are about five celebrities each week, and then they'd each have that button, and then every time they hit it, they'd be like, hey, hey, hey.
Hey, 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 hey.
Yeah, I used to watch that. Yeah.
You remember that one,
Yeah.
right? So, and they'd have like this hair meter.
Yeah.
So hair is like, wow, or you're showing your appreciation.
It's like 20 hairs was like, you know, the maximum.
The top one. And it was like, it gets to the top and goes ding. I'm probably misremembering this, but it's like when ding, 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 ding. It was like the most interesting thing they'd seen. Yeah. I like that hair
That
or
was
meter.
funny.
Yeah. So let's go on to another dialogue. Again, we're just practicing these grammar structures so you can really get them stuck in your head. And again, as usual, we're just swapping out various vocabulary so you can increase your vocabulary and just practice some more fluency. So anyway, dialogue number 3. Ami sensei, do you want to go first?
Okay. 趣味は何?
そうだね。読書かな。
そっか。最初のきっかけは?
本を読むことが好きだからやってみようかなと思って。
どのくらいやってるの?
6ヶ月。
すごいね。しょっちゅうやってるの?
時間があるときに。
へえ。趣味は何?
そうだね。読書かな。
そっか。最初のきっかけは?
本を読むことが好きだからやってみようかなと思って。
どのくらいやってるの?
6ヶ月。
すごいね。しょっちゅうやってるの?
時間があるときに。
へえ。
Cool. Okay, so I'll break some of this down. 趣味は何? What's your hobby? そうだね. Well, let's see. 読書かな? So, 読書 has two kanji. The first one is doku, which means read, and sho means to write. But actually, doku sho together means reading. So it's like the hobby of reading. Then again, soka. Oh, really? 最初のきっかけは how did you get into reading? And then the new phrase here is 本を読むこと. So you probably understand that if you have some basic Japanese. 本 is book. 読む is to read. So reading books. So 本を読むことが好きだからやってみようかなと思って. So as I like reading books, I thought I'd give it a go. So I thought I'd start reading properly, you know? And then どのぐらいやってるの? How long have you been doing this? 6ヶ月, so 6 months. So you got to be careful when you're talking about time spans. If you say 6月, it means
June.
June, am I right? Is that June, right? So it's interesting in Japanese, 1月, January, 2月, February, 3月, March, and so on and so forth. 12月, December. But if you say 6ヶ月, it means 6 months. So maybe that's another podcast we can do talking about time span. So 1ヶ月, 1 month. 2ヶ月, 2 months, as in the time span. Then, of course, we just finished with すごいね. Wow. しょっちゅうやってるの? Do you do this often? And then, what was the reply to that, Ami sensei?
This was new. This is a new phrase. 時間があるときに. So, 時間 is time. があるときに. ある is to have. 時 is again, time.
Yeah, right.
But 時間, the first word 時間 actually means time, as in, the measurable amount of time.
The first 時間 is like a measure of time.
Toki is like is one instant.
Yeah, it's like kind of when.
When, yeah.
So, yeah.
When.
Yeah.
So I'm basically saying when I have time. 時間があるときに.
And then finally, we finished with our famous hair.
Hair. Cool.
Okay, people, are you ready for one last one?
Yeah.
I think you should be able to understand this. Yay. Okay, so, Ami Sensei, would you like to be A or B?
I'll be B this time.
趣味は何?
そうだね。カメラかな。
そっか。最初のきっかけは?
写真を撮ることが好きだからやってみようかなと思って。
どのぐらいやってるの?
1ヶ月。
すごいね。しょっちゅうやってるの?
毎週末。
へー。趣味は何?
そうだね。カメラかな。
そっか。最初のきっかけは?
写真を撮ることが好きだからやってみようかなと思って。
どのぐらいやってるの?
1ヶ月。
すごいね。しょっちゅうやってるの?
毎週末。
へー。Cool. So, did you understand that? There should have been one word you got there. So, Ami Sensei, would you like to briefly, 素早く break this down?
OK です。So, 趣味は何? What's your hobby? そうだね。Let's see. カメラかな? カメラ。
So this is like you are a fan of gamera, the
違いますよ。
like from 違いますか? ごめんなさい. So what does camera mean?
Camera. So basically the hobby here is taking pictures. そっか。最初のきっかけは? I see. What got you started? 写真を撮ることが好きだからやってみようかなと思って。So the reason here, 写真を撮る take pictures ことが好きだからやってみようかなと思って。I like taking pictures, so I thought I'll give it a go. どのくらいやってるの? How long have you been doing this? 1ヶ月 1 month. すごいね。Wow.Cool. しょっちゅうやってるの? Do you do it often? 毎週末 every weekend. 毎 is every, 週末 weekend. 毎週末 and then へー
Great. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Amy Sensei. And please don't forget, we will be making a separate Japanese dialogue only audio file, and it will have the wonderful Ami Sensei pronouncing that all in perfect Japanese for you. So have a listen to that. And you can practice your listening. And if you do some shadowing, that means listening and repeating out loud, you'll be able to improve your spoken fluency too. So definitely check that out. Ami Sensei, let's talk a little bit about the grammar behind talking about your free time, if that's okay.
Sure. So here's a little recap of what we studied, plus some extra ways to talk about your hobbies. As we studied before, the easiest way to talk about your hobby is 趣味は何? Karate. So you ask, 趣味は何? What is your hobby? And then simply reply with the name of the hobby. So that one, for that example, 趣味は何? What's your hobby? Karate. Super easy, right? Now here are some other examples. 趣味は何? ジョギング。趣味は何? テニス。趣味は何? サッカー。Now, if you want to say it more politely, you would say, 趣味は何ですか? 趣味は空手です。Same exact meaning, just using keigo. So if you want to, you can also say what your hobby is, plus が好きです or just が好き. So for example, ジョギングが好きです。I like jogging. ハイキングが好きです。I like hiking. テニスが好き。I like tennis. サッカーが好き。I like soccer. Now, here are more ways to ask about people's hobbies. Here we go. 趣味あるの? 趣味あるの? Do you have a hobby? 暇な時に何をするの? 暇な時に何をするの? What do you do in your free time? 何をするのが好き? 何をするのが好き? What do you like doing? 最近ハマってることある? 最近ハマってることある? Recently, what are you into? Another pattern you should learn is 趣味は, then the noun, then お, and then the verb, and then ことです. For example, 趣味は本を読むことです. My hobby is reading books. 趣味は本を読むことです. 本 is book, and 読む is the verb to read. Now, if you put こと after the verb, it's a little like an ing, as we talked about earlier, the ing verb in English. So, 本を読む means to read books, but 本を読むこと is a little more like reading books. Now, here are some more examples. 趣味は映画を見ることです。趣味は映画を見ることです。My hobby is watching movies. 趣味は音楽を聴くことです。趣味は音楽を聴くことです。My hobby is listening to music. 趣味は料理をすることです。趣味は料理をすることです。My hobby is cooking. 趣味はスキューバダイビングをすることです。趣味はスキューバダイビングをすることです。My hobby is to go scuba diving. 趣味は絵を描くことです。趣味は絵を描くことです。My hobby is painting or drawing. Now, instead of 趣味は映画を見ることです、you can say 映画を見ることが好きです instead. I like watching movies. 映画を見ることが好きです。So, for example, 音楽を聴くことが好きです。音楽を聴くことが好きです。I like listening to music. 料理をすることが好きです。料理をすることが好きです。I like cooking. スキューバダイビングをすることが好きです。スキューバダイビングをすることが好きです。I like to go scuba diving. 絵を描くことが好きです。絵を描くことが好きです。I like painting. So this means when talking about hobbies, you have two options. One being a noun phrase and the other using a verb linked to the hobby. For example, 趣味は映画鑑賞です。Or 趣味は映画を見ることです。So the first one is more like a noun phrase. So 映画鑑賞 just by itself just means watching movies. So you can say 趣味は映画鑑賞です。My hobby is watching movies. Or 趣味は映画を見ることです。My hobby is to watch movies. So pretty much the same exact meaning, just two different ways to say it, with the noun or with a verb. The next one is 趣味は水泳です。My hobby is swimming. 趣味は泳ぐことです。My hobby is to go swim. 趣味は読書です。My hobby is reading books. 趣味は本を読むことです。My hobby is to read books. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's a little hard to hear on an audio podcast, but if you check out the PDF notes, it'll make sense. So it's kind of like the difference between an easier example would be something like 趣味はカメラです. So it's kind of like my hobby is photography. 趣味は写真を撮ることです. My hobby is taking photographs. So that's the difference, you know, like a noun phrase, photography, and then the verb phrase is taking photos. But anyway,
that makes more sense.
Ami Sensei, that was a fantastic explanation. Again, do check out the PDF show notes if you want to read all that stuff. Let's talk about some vocabulary. Could you teach us some typical Japanese hobbies?
Okay, so I wouldn't say necessarily typical, but traditional. Here's some traditional, very traditional Japanese hobbies. Ikebana. So the art of flower arrangement, Japanese flower arrangement.
Right.
Shodo, Japanese calligraphy with their brushes. Sado, the whole tea ceremony and art of tea. And finally, Kyudo, Japanese archery.
I actually did Japanese archery when I was on the JET program in Miyazaki. I did it for a year.
Oh, you did?
It was so cool.
Oh, I bet that was fun.
By the way, this was a million years before Hunger Games. Archery is so cool.
It looks hard.
Oh, yeah, it's super hard, but it's super, super fascinating. I've never done Western-style archery, just the Japanese one. So you wear a hakama and you have a traditional Japanese bow and arrow, and you have a matto, which is like a target. And there's a very structured way to pulling the arrow back and releasing it. And it's really a martial art.
Cool.
More than a sport, I would have thought. But it's really, really cool. I highly recommend to do Japanese archery if you get the chance. Zehi.
Okay. So now for sports, which are usually in katakana. For example, jogging, tennis, tennis, soccer, hiking.
Hiking is not exactly a sport, but let's just call it an outdoor activity.
Yeah.
And most of them are usually katakana.
Other hobbies written in katakana include things like yoga, dance, karaoke, karaoke, as people say.
Right.
Sumaho game. So these are basically games on your phone, on your cell phone. Sumaho game, we call them smartphone games. Sumaho for short.
When I'm on the train, I see salarymen and salarywomen playing those Candy Crush type games where these kind of like Tetris type games.
I know.
They're super popular.
Yeah, it's funny. And then speaking of games, video game. So video games. Do they say terebi game still? I don't know.
Some
people
sometimes,
do.
yeah, I don't know, maybe terebi games sometimes, or
Sometimes
video
a
game.
video
Yeah.
game. And then doraibu. So just, driving around, which is actually kind of a thing in Japan.
You'll be surprised when you say, so what do you do for fun in your free time? I was like, I go driving. I'm like, where do you go driving? It makes sense though, because
It totally makes sense now that I think about it.
because if you think you don't want to be stuck in your tiny apartment, right?
Right.
And you want a bit of freedom, but you also kind of want to be by yourself in your own kind of
Yeah, and explore.
Yeah.
It's just different because, in Japan, people are usually walking or taking the train or the bus, and the car is a little bit more special I feel like in Japan. So when you just get in a car and go anywhere, it's special, and that itself is like a fun thing to do. Whereas, people like say over here, they drive to work, they drive to school, they drive everywhere. They drive to go to the grocery store. So it's like already such a big part of their lives. But in Japan, it's a little bit more special.
In urban areas like Tokyo, most people take public transport. So driving is more of a thing you do on weekends.
Yeah.
It's not so common. Unlike say America, which is designed for the car. What other hobbies are they? Kind of like Japanese martial arts, would you say, Ami Sensei?
そうですね. Here we go. Here are some of them, which you probably may already know. Judo, Aikido, karate, and here are some other random hobbies which use kanji also. Suiie, which we used earlier, swimming. Yamanobori, mountain hiking or mountain climbing. 音楽, music. 映画鑑賞, watching movies. 買い物, shopping. 魚釣り, fishing. 園芸, gardening. 一人旅, lone trips. Single person trips.
Yeah, so Hitori Tabi, I discovered this the other day. I was looking online and I was trying to do some research, like what are the most popular hobbies in Japan? And one of them was Hitori Tabi, which is literally one person trip.
Yeah.
So it just means like
going solo on a trip.
Just visiting somewhere by yourself.
So yeah, the list goes on and on. But
yeah, of course.
But I'll stop there for now.
So check out the PDF show notes again. We'll put all that in the show notes for you to study. So as I just mentioned, I did a little research and went online to see what the most popular hobbies are in Japan. And I found lots of websites, and I found one called shumipo.com. So that's SYUMIPO.com. And it's a site that lists hobbies for people looking for interesting things to do in their free time. So this isn't very scientific because I have no idea how they got their data. Let's just pretend that this is true. Probably isn't. But anyway, so I'll start at number 10 and go backwards. So number 10, 10th most popular one is kintore. Kinniku training. So that just means bodybuilding or weights.
Strength training.
Strength training, so going to the gym and doing weights. Number 9, interestingly, was meiso, which is meditation.
Interesting.
I'm wondering if that's kind of from the recent, the mindfulness movement.
Yeah, maybe it's getting a little more popular in Japan too.
This is a kind of thing that actually originally started in Japan, got exported to America, and now it's kind of like coming back again to Japan.
Yeah, it's funny.
The next one, number 8, is kabu or FX torihiki. So that's kind of day trading or buying, selling stocks. I know that was way more popular about 5 or 10 years ago, but some people like to trade online. Number 7 is tozan, which is basically mountain climbing, or maybe more realistically, hiking in the mountains.
Sure, yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that because Japan, 70% of the land area in Japan is mountainous. Japan has some fantastic mountain ranges, and it's not all Tokyo. It's not all robot cafe. It's not all robot restaurant. It's not all anime. There's some fantastic hiking out there that you should definitely check out.
Definitely.
Number 6 is yoga, which I'm sure is popular in many countries. Then number 5 is eikaiwa, which is English conversation. And I definitely in the 1980s and 1990s, English conversation was very cool and was a big thing. And in recent years, I think people aren't as interested as they were before. It's definitely a big business still, but it's slightly on the decline, I think. Number 4, running, jogging. So running, jogging, right? Number 3 is dokusho, which is reading. Japanese people it's a very literate country. Reading is a hugely popular hobby. It's not just manga, but Japanese people do like to read. In recent years, of course, they've been reading on their iPads and mobile phone devices, but Japanese people are avid readers. Number 2 is, interestingly, jitensha or cycling. So cycling. And then number 1 is shashin or camera or photography. Kind of interesting. And I have heard that a lot. I think
最近ですか?
No, I think photography's always been a big thing in Japan because obviously you've got Nikon and Canon, all these like Japanese camera companies which are, famous for producing amazing cameras. So I think photography has always been a thing in Japan.
Yeah.
These things come and go in trends. Again, I'm not claiming that this list is very accurate. This is just off a random site I found. But definitely, I would agree, photography is one, reading is another. It wasn't in this list, but I've mentioned before, driving is definitely a hobby.
あと料理 cooking.
Ryori, cooking. Yeah, I think ryori should be in the top 10.
I think so too.
I think like cooking is, and by the way, I am not complaining. Japanese are crazy obsessed with food, which is all good news for me. It means I get to eat amazing food. Japanese love cooking and they love eating out at restaurants.
Yes.
So that's a slightly unscientific glimpse.
But it's a good list, I think.
It's a good list, yeah. So, just kind of talking about the culture behind hobbies in Japan. Ami Sensei,
Hi.
how do you think Japanese people typically pursue their hobbies? Are there any particular trends in Japan, would you say?
I think そうですね. I think that it's been a thing for a while now, but traveling.
Yeah, sure.
Not just alone, but in groups. And there's a lot of higaeri trips in Japan. Higaeri trips are one-day trips. You could take the train, you could take the bus. There's actual bus trips to onsen, hot springs, and places of historical interest like castles. And those are pretty popular.
The other day I went into the convenience store and I noticed that there was a section of travel books. So they'll have like a section of like maps and travel guides, and they'll have
travel
things.
Guides, yeah.
They'll have like in the summer they'll have like the firework festival guide, and they'll also have like usually like an onsen guide to
Onsen guide,
and then another one they'll have is like 1 day trip guide. So places, because again Japanese people are limited in their time. They don't have a huge amount of free time compared to some other countries, and so they like
they kind of pack it in.
Yeah, exactly. We have that kind of stereotype of Japanese people who go on a package holiday, and it's sort of true because when in England or Europe it's not uncommon to take a week or 2 weeks off for the summer, but in Japan a 2-week holiday is almost unheard of, right? Even today.
Right.
And so Japanese people do tend to do package holidays just because everything's prepared for you.
Included.
Everything's included. You don't have to plan it. You don't have to think about it. You can just like get on the plane, rock up to the hotel, chill out by the swimming pool, and the tour for the next day is all done for you. So those package holidays are...
And they're, Yeah, good deals too.
And very good deals too. And I think you can even do like higairi packages and things. So
Yeah, I've done it with my mom.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was like a bus tour package.
Right.
It included, lunch and visiting 3 or 4 different places, and then we'd be back by like dinner time.
Oh, awesome! So
yeah,
and it's nice because you don't have to plan everything. You just want to chill. You don't want to think about anything, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Another thing that's been in the news that is indirectly related to hobbies, and that's hataraki kata kaikaku. So that translates as work reform or working style reform. And so basically what happened was, I forget when it was, but recently karoshi, or death by overwork, has been a topic because there was a young lady in her 20s. She was working for a Japanese
sad.
Very, very sad story. She was a young lady in her 20s. She was working for a very big Japanese advertising agency, and she was working like 100 hours a week or something ridiculous like that. And she ended up committing suicide. And it was obviously such a horrible shock to everyone that this became a huge topic in the media. And people really have been talking about this. And the big question is like, why are we working such long hours? Like, what's it for? If it's really making people this miserable and it's affecting people's health, we need to really think this. So kind of a recent buzzword is hataraki kata kaikaku. Hataraki is mean work, kata way of, kaikaku means like reform or revolution. I don't want to kind of get into that, but because of that, not just recently, but also in recent years, the trend is for working hours have been falling a little in Japan. And so I think Japanese people are thinking a little bit more about their free time. They're thinking a little bit more about how to spend time with their families more. Because definitely in the 80s, that stereotype of the salaryman who never saw his family was definitely more true than now. But
not too much, yeah.
We talked a bit about traditional Zen arts, traditional things like we talked about sado, the tea ceremony, shodo, calligraphy, ikebana, flower arranging, wearing kimono.
Sure.
They're not the most popular hobbies, but they are done. There are a fair amount of people who do them, right?
Yeah. It's not like it's dead.
I studied shodo, calligraphy, for one afternoon.
Oh, you did?
And I absolutely sucked, of course.
It's so hard. I did it for a couple years.
It's really hard. It was really funny because I did it at the local elementary school, and it was and it was hilarious. Is like 8-year-old kid sitting next to me who's just completely kicking my ass at it. It was so funny.
I mean, it's already hard to write in Japanese, and now you've got this giant brush, to write with.
Yeah,
and it's like, what do I do?
Talking about hobbies, another funny thing is Yoyogi Park. So I live within walking distance of Yoyogi Park.
Oh, okay.
And on Sunday, Yoyogi Park is like this snapshot of how Japan spends its Sunday. Now, remember, in Japan, especially in cities, land is at a premium. So there's not a lot of space to do your hobby. So especially if you play like a really loud instrument, like you play the drums or you play the trumpet, there's nowhere to you can't really do it at home because walls tend to be quite thin, especially in crowded neighborhoods. So when you go to Yoyogi Park, you often see people practicing their hobbies. So you'll have like a bunch of like young drama students doing, they'll be like singing or they'll be dancing. They'll be doing like a lot of really young kids doing hip hop dancing. You'll have people playing brass instruments, people doing magic tricks, juggling. So Yoyogi Park is like really interesting.
It's like a circus.
It's kind of like a circus, yeah. Another place you'll see is by rivers. So along the riverbank, you'll have usually like baseball fields or small soccer grounds, like football grounds. And, kids will be, doing sports and stuff like that. Okay. Oh, by the way, Ami sensei.
はい。
趣味は何？
やっぱり音楽です。 そうですね。趣味でもあって、私の人生です。
音楽がないと生きてはいけないよ。
本当です。本当です。
そうですね。やっぱり音楽って、自分を音楽選ぶじゃなくて、音楽が自分を選ぶね。
そうですね。
音楽に選ばれた。
と思いたいですね。趣味は何ですか？
やっぱりギターですね。
ギター。
音楽の作曲とか、ギターの演奏とか、やっぱり音楽ですよね。でも、アミ先生と同じく、趣味だけじゃなくて、やっぱり人生です。
そうですね。
And now, it's time for Random Phrase of the Week.
Oh, that was better. That's better.
Oh, no. Your mouth trumpet is far superior than mine.
Thank you.
Ami sensei, what is this week's random phrase?
半端ない。半端ない。
Hampanai. What does hampanai mean?
It's a very modern sort of term. But 半端ない it means crazy awesome.
Yeah.
Is basically what it means. Literally, it 半端ない hampa means it's not just like it's not なんでしょうね.
Incomplete, right? So
yeah.
So I guess like hampa, like so there's a phrase like 中途半端, which kind of means half-assed, half-baked, poorly done. So hang is from half, right? So hampa means like a fragment, it's half done. But if you hampa nai, it's negative. It's not half done.
Yeah.
It has the opposite meaning. It's like super wicked awesome. It's just amazing. So if you say something's hampa nai, or usually like guys will say hampa ne, that nai sound changed to an air sound. So that's kind of more slang. Hampa ne. It's like, oh, it's so awesome, dude. Ami sensei, could you teach us some examples? Please.
Sure. You could say things like マジ半端ないあいつ. So マジ is like seriously, you know, like totally.
マジ半端ないあいつ. So what does that mean?
So that means that person, he or she, is crazy awesome or is unbelievable. マジ半端ないあいつ.
Ami sensei, マジ半端ない.
いえいえ。そんなことないですよ。
You're using that for people. Could you use it for other stuff?
Yeah, you could use it for like things like あの店のハンバーグは半端ない。So あの店 or あのお店の that restaurant's ハンバーグ hamburger steak 半端ない is crazy awesome, is amazing, unbelievably good.
It's マジやばい, right?
Yes, マジやばい, マジ半端ない. You can use all of the above.
By the way, just a little cultural note, a foodie note. Hamburger is, Ami sensei?
Hamburger.
And hamburger is?
Hamburger steak.
Yeah, so it's just the steak without the bun. So hamburger is just the steak on a plate with maybe salad or fries or whatever. But hamburger is just like a
regular hamburger.
Well, thank you very much, Ami sensei. Domo.
Yeah.
We'll just finish off with some 5-star reviews. If you want to show your support and you enjoy the podcast, please show your support by leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes. Again, we've been absolutely inundated. I'm just going to read a few out. I apologize if I haven't read yours out if you left a review, but here are some interesting reviews we got recently. The first one is from Eliyahu. That's like 4 000s. Fun and awesome way to learn practical Japanese. And this is America Jing. And Eliyahu says, it's been one of my dreams to visit Japan ever since I was young. I took a year of Japanese in college, but I wanted a fun way to return to the basics, especially practical conversation, and learn more about the culture. This podcast does just that. Well, thank you very much. Today is my first day in Japan, and I'm glad to have learned Japanese from Alex, Ami, and the other guests. Well, thank you very much. Oh, you're in Japan now.
That's great.
Awesome. Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you very much. Next one, another America-jing, and the nickname here is Gasuma Besu.
Kazuma, I think. Kazuma.
Oh, Kazuma. Sorry, Kazuma Besu.
That, I think, is her name. Like Beth Kazma.
Kazma Bess. Oh, right. Beth. Right. Okay. Kazma Bess. Sorry.
No.
Apologies for that. Great podcast. They say, I really enjoy the podcast. I've been studying Japanese off and on for many years and currently live in California.
Oh, okay. My second home.
Your second home. She's a SoCal lady. To this day, I still find it very challenging, especially to keep up on what I already know. But Alex and Amy make it fun and interesting to keep up on my skills, learn new ways to say things, and provide current cultural pieces that I wouldn't otherwise have learned. Keep it up. I want more. Absolutely. Thank you, Alex and Amy. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Besu-san.
You know, that's an interesting comment because I think learning a language is it's a long-term endeavor. And it's fine to take a break. Don't worry if you don't improve suddenly. But if you keep on coming back and reviewing the language you already know, that's a really good way to kind of build your skills and improve. So, kazuma desu, arigatou gozaimasu. Another one from America here. The nickname here is a long string of numbers, which can't be bothered to read out, but thank you very much. These podcasts are so useful. Even though I've studied Japanese for 4 consecutive years, there are things covered on the podcast that I never learned before. Yeah, thank you very much. Partly the reason we do basic conversations at the moment is because, I've been living in Japan for donkey's years, and everyone has gaps in their knowledge, I think, and it's always good to go back to basics and, learn stuff you thought you knew, but actually you didn't. So it's always a learning process. My thoughts and prayers go out to Matthew Dons. Arigatou gozaimasu. So anyway, Matthew Dons is a good friend of mine and has been massive help to this podcast. I mentioned in the last podcast that he was battling cancer at the moment and he needed funds to pay for his cancer treatment. So if you feel ready, willing, and able, please consider making a donation to his GoFundMe campaign, which is at matthewdons.com. That's MATTHEWDONS.com, Matthew Dons. Just consider giving him a little donation. It'll really help, and thank you very much for that. Okay, next one is from Australia, and if you've been stuck in a rut studying textbooks full of polite form and you want to be able to talk more normally in Japanese, this is the pod for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's great. It's very insightful, step by step, funny, and Alex and Ami Sensei seem like nice people too. Ami is a nice person. Am I really a nice person? I don't know. Thank you very much for the podcast and hope to hear more from you soon. And he says, "Mecha sugoi ne, osusume da yo." Nice Japanese. Good job. And finally, last one is, I can't even read this name because
JSKLXUCGAG.
Xie. Okay. This lovely listener writes, my partner is Japanese American and all of his family lives in Japan. Interesting. His father asked me to learn Japanese to connect with the family, and this podcast gives me useful Japanese that I can use when talking to my partner and his family. That's great. That's wonderful. I have only listened to 2 podcasts so far, but I was able to follow them easily, and I learned words and phrases that I can actually use when talking to people. I love the casual tone of Alex and Aska. Oh, Aska! We haven't had her on the program for a long time, and I enjoy listening to their conversations. I love the random phrase of the week segment. I really want to kind of challenge myself to use that phrase. I can't wait to listen to the rest of the podcast. I think the PDF and the dialogues are super helpful for reviewing what I have learned and helping me to learn it even better. Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
A section of the people who listen to this podcast, I think, listen to it because their relatives are Japanese. So maybe you're married to a Japanese person, or you have like a parent-in-law, sister-in-law, or maybe your grandparents or cousins are Japanese. And a lot of people want to learn Japanese because they want to communicate more effectively with their family. Here in Japan, I have a lot of friends who are married to Japanese people. And So it's interesting. Sometimes like people who move to Japan and their spouse is Japanese, what sometimes ends up happening is that the spouse becomes their translator. So that they end up like not learning that much Japanese,
なるほど。
even though they live in Japan. It depends on the person. It depends on the person. But also, there are a lot of people in America or the UK who have family in Japan, and so if this podcast is even 1% helpful in helping you to communicate with your family, I'm super happy about that. So I hope it's useful. Anyway. Thank you so much for your super kind comments. Again, if you want to show support to the podcast, please consider leaving a 5-star review. It helps us get more visibility on iTunes so more people can see the podcast. So thank you very much. And that's about it. Thank you so much, Ami Sensei.
いえ、どういたしまして、こちらこそ。
今日はすごい長いポッドキャストだけど、すごい楽しかった。
楽しかったです。
もう半端ねえ。
半端お疲れ様です。
お疲れ様です。So, everyone, if you want to contact us, if you have a question for us that you want us to answer on the podcast, go to learnjapanesepod.com/questions, fill out the form. We will try to get to your question. Find us on Twitter at Japanese Podcast. Find us on Facebook. Just do a search for Learn Japanese Pod. You can send me an email directly to info@learnjapanesepod.com. Come and meet the other members. Say hello, share ideas, ask questions. And you can also check out our forum, which is very busy these days, at learnjapanesepod.com/forum. And that's about it. So thank you very much. Check out the PDFs. Listen to the extra audio MP3 that we're going to make for this. It's just going to have Ami and myself speaking in Japanese. No blah, blah, blah. Use that to improve your listening and your speaking fluency. 日本語一生懸命頑張ってください. And see you next time. Bye.
またね。